Raise of hands. How many of you, not yet, how many of you has served as an officer at in-camera Toastmasters? Raise of hands. Raise of hands. How many of you have given speeches at in-camera Toastmasters? Yeah, more hands. Next question. How many of you have paid membership fees to in-camera Toastmasters? Yeah, even more hands. And the final question, and think carefully about this one, how many of you have ever attended a meeting of in-camera Toastmasters? Yeah, is everyone's hand up? Yeah. Peter, is yours up?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Good. Each one of you that raised your hand has contributed to the success of in-camera Toastmasters. I'm going to share with you the club success, the Distinguished Club Program of Toastmasters International. A couple of weeks ago, we learned that we as a club were President's Distinguished. And that's the highest level a club can go within the Distinguished Club Program. And that's a significant achievement for the first year of a club. It's really incredible. We can applaud ourselves for that achievement. But what does that mean? The Distinguished Club Program, it's worldwide across all of the 16,000 plus clubs of Toastmasters. And we can take a look at where we stand at any point in time through the club dashboard. And I will share the link to this with you later. It's publicly available. You can check anytime you want to see where we are as a club. What I'd like to do this morning is walk you through what the Distinguished Club Program is, what the different elements are, and how to read this dashboard. This is the full dashboard. If we take it step by step, and what I'm going to do is actually work from the bottom up and talk about the different elements of the program. If we start at the bottom, the club at Toastmasters is really the foundational, the most important organization within Toastmasters. And any organization needs to have good administration. That's the first element within the Distinguished Club Program. And for administration, we're saying, have we paid our membership dues on time? And do we have our club officers registered with Toastmasters International? This column here says what's required in the Distinguished Club Program, or the DCP. This just says, yes, we need to do this. And in-camera Toastmasters did this twice. So we have 2 payment periods in October and in April. And we submitted our payments on time both times. In camera, we elect our officers for 6-month terms, and we provided our officer list to Toastmasters twice, once for the January period and once for the July period. So we got 1 point. We got a check mark for that. A strong organization also needs prepared leaders. And the DCP program measures that through officer training. Officer training is held twice a year. It's going on right now for the summer period. And then there's another training round that happens in the winter time, so December, January timeframe. For the club to get credit in the DCP program, 4 officers need to be trained each time. So 4 officers in the summer, 4 officers in the winter. In camera did that. We had 6 last summer, 5 last winter. So we got another point in the DCP program. That's 2 points. A strong organization also needs new members. New members bring new perspectives, new energy, new vitality, new stories to an organization, to our club. In the DCP program, the club gets 1 point for 4 new members, and we get another point for 4 additional members. So if we look around and in camera, we had 15 new members last year. That's fantastic. We look around the room and see Peter and Marta and Ellen and Jan and Daniel. These are all examples of members that joined in the last year, giving in camera 2 points, 1 for each set of 4. And then a strong organization also needs achievement. And achievement in the DCP program is measured by the levels that our members achieve within pathways. A club gets 1 point for 4 level 1s. We had 6. Marta, Maura, Ellen are 3 people that received level 1s with us today, and Veronica also. A club gets a point for 2 level 2s. Veronica and Klaus gave us those 2 level 2s. A club gets another point for 2 more level 2s. We didn't achieve that. Maybe that's something we want to work towards for next year or for this year. But it didn't matter because we needed 9 points to achieve President's Distinguished, not all 10. A club then also gets another point for 2 level 3s. Veronica and Klaus gave us the points for level 3. A club gets a point for 1 level 4, 5, or a DTM. Louisa gave us a level 5. And then the club gets another point for a second level 4, 5, or DTM. And I gave my DTM to in-camera Toastmasters. So last year we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 6 educational award points in the program. So how do we get to the 9? We had 5 educational points. We got 2 more points for our membership. We got 1 point for our officer training. And we got the 9th point for our administration. The DCP program, in my view, is a measure of the strength of a club. It's not everything. And I'll continue that, but I want to pause right now to see what kind of questions you might have about the DCP program and about how we measure the strength of the club. So I'm going to open it up for questions now. What are you curious about in the DCP program? Don't be afraid, just open up your mic and ask a question. Members, guests, doesn't matter.
Steve, I would like to ask the question, what about not achieving these nine points? Is there anything else that's like 9 and that's it? Or are there any other opportunities for clubs which don't thrive that straightforward as we do?
Okay, yeah, good question. Yeah, unfortunately, not every club around the world is President's Distinguished. but that doesn't mean that they're not distinguished. So in the Distinguished Club program, there are 3 different levels. Maximum are 10 points. We got 9 for President's Distinguished, and that's what's required. However, a club can be distinguished getting 5 points. And a club can be select distinguished by getting 7 points. So the levels are distinguished, select distinguished, and President's Distinguished at 5, 7, and 9 points. Does that answer the question, Ellen? Nodding your head, okay. But Peter.
Yeah, I get the distinguished part, but why president? What does president mean?
What does president mean?
In the terms of 9 points, like why?
Why? Well, president generally means the top. The president is the #1 leader of an organization. And so when you reach the level of presidency, you are at the pinnacle. And that's where in camera is. We are at the top. Does that help?
Well, I don't entirely follow that logic, but I'll let it go.
Oh, no, continue.
Well, I mean, what would be 8 then? 8 would be what?
Okay.
In the scheme of things.
Yeah, 8 then falls in the select distinguished level. So 7 or 8 points are select distinguished. 5 and 6 would be distinguished. What other questions?
I've got another question actually.
Okay, yeah.
How many clubs, like in percentages, achieve this level? Is it lots or is it few? I guess it's fewer, but how few is it?
I don't have it. That's a good question. I don't have the exact numbers for that, but it's a decent percentage of the clubs around the world that achieve President's Distinguished, but it is a challenge, and it really is quite an accomplishment for a club to reach that level. If you're really interested, I will share the link to our dashboard, but it's a fantastic link because you can drill down or drill up to all kinds of levels. You can get a view of the entire Toastmasters International dashboard through that link if you follow the different links there. So you could, if you wanted, you could take a look and find the answer to your question specifically by looking at how the different clubs around the world are doing. And it's also a great resource because I like numbers, but when I look at the dashboard, it gives me a much better perspective of just the scope and the size and really the magnificence of Toastmasters International. It truly is a global organization. But Margaret, I see your hand up.
Thanks, Steve. So what would you say are some of the challenges that clubs face year on year trying to achieve this standard?
Good question. The challenges a club faces. In my experience, one of the common challenges is membership. In camera, we are privileged because we have 35 members, which is a good sized club. The minimum to qualify, I didn't mention this before, but there's also one other requirement for being select. for being distinguished select or presidents is a club needs to have at least 20 members or a growth of 5 members. We shouldn't have a problem meeting that requirement. But many clubs, especially over the last couple of years, when there's been other global challenges, a lot of clubs can't quite maintain or attain that membership level. The administrative point is easy. It's straightforward. The training, if the officers are committed to attending training, that is really also very straightforward to achieve. The educational awards, it depends how active the members are with their speaking. But membership can be a challenge. I know a club in this geographic area. They had 8 points last year, fantastic, but not enough members, so they didn't quite qualify. So I would say that's the biggest challenge clubs face in general.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks.
Jan, your hand is up.
I have a straightforward question with maybe not such a straightforward answer. How do we scale from here? Given both new members that we have to that now get even more new members, and we have a lot of new members already that now need to get pathways done and everything. So how do we scale from to achieve this next time?
Oh yeah, I am so glad you asked that question, because that's a perfect segue into what I wanted to add to the presentation of the Distinguished Club Program. For me, the Distinguished Club Program is a measure of the strength of a club, but it's not enough. It's a part of our quality, but quality to me means more. For me, a quality club needs to offer an outstanding member experience. And that's 2 parts. One is member support. What do we offer our members? And the second is member engagement. And this is where I see the challenge for in-camera. Member support, I think, is more or less driven by the leadership of the club. And this is like what Margaret was talking about, as the support that we offer the members for taking on roles. It is establishing a mentor program, making sure that each new member is onboarded effectively so that they feel really a part of the club and know their way around. Member engagement comes from you, comes from each one of us. And it's how active, how proactive, how enthusiastically do we get involved in the activities of the club? So it's simple things like going into Easy Speak and saying, yes, I'm going to be at the meeting, and yes, I will take this role. It's simple things like saying, I want to give a speech. Let me put a speech request into Easy Speak. What I'd like to see is the club, our members having this attitude and excitement about, oh, I get to participate in the meeting. I get to take on a role that is going to help me develop skills. I get to take on, I get to give a speech that is going to inform or going to educate or going to entertain my members and give me an opportunity to talk about something that I love to talk about. Members taking on this attitude of, oh, I get to be part of the leadership team. That's where, and I'm going to kind of wrap up with this. is this is where I see us having the opportunity to continue and to grow from the foundation of strength that we have now. So let's embrace this idea of we are a strong club and we can become even a higher quality club. This is really where I see in-camera going. We've got what it takes. Let's just work together and make that happen. I thank you very much for your attention, for your questions. And I'm really, really, really looking forward to what we do together in this Toastmasters year. Over to you, or back to you, Mr. Toastmaster Jan.
Thank you very much, Steve. And before we move on, I just want to call out that